Lamont Roach has been enjoying some newfound stardom since his controversial decision draw with top boxing talent in Gervonta Tank Davis, right? And since then, he's been lined up to fight Pitbull Cruz, to which he said, if I come out victorious, I will solidify myself as a boxing great. To which a lot of people started laughing, but apparently I missed the joke, because not only do I not find it funny, I actually agree with him.
Hello guys, this is Rolly Romero.
Yo, my name is Nonito Donaire. What's up guys, Designer's Eyes.
We're here with Bob Santos Boxing.
And I rock with Dr. Boxing Talk.
I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk.
And I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk. Thank you for all the love, thank you for all the support.
You're rocking with Dr. Boxing Talk. Get your daily news from my man right here, the best in the business. Let's get it, baby.
All day, baby.
Amen.
Bam!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. If I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Talk family? Welcome back to your favorite boxing news channel, Dr. Boxing Talk. And BTF, I need you to rise up because we have something to talk about, and that something is WBA 130-pound champion Lamont Roach. Man, the American has said that, hey man, he's on the path to greatness when he takes on Mexico's WBC interim champion at 140 pounds, Pitbull Cruz. And you know, in his last fight, he fought one of America's top talents, one of boxing's top talents in Gervonta Tank Davis. Everybody wants to fight him, right? The 135-pound WBA champ. So Lamont Roach used his status and his title and his opportunity when Gervonta Tank Davis needed to fight. And he said, hey, man, let's go. I'll fight you. I'll move up and fight you. And he took advantage of the opportunity. Now, a lot of people thought that he may have won the fight, you know, but it ended up in a draw, right? Controversial draw. But I want to be very clear. You know, Lamont Roach just went in there and fought. Why are we mad at Lamont Roach for going in there and fighting? We should applaud him. I'm a Gervonta Tank Davis fan, but you know me, I'm a boxing fan, number one. But Gervonta Tank Davis is one of my favorite fighters. But I'm not mad at Lamont Roach for going in there and handling business. I'm never mad at fighters going in there and handling business. You know, that's what they're supposed to do. They throw punches and take punches and see who's the best man, you know, or the best woman. Like Caleb Plant was upset by Resendez. I was applauding and happy for Resendez because upsets keep the boxing world going. It keeps us guessing. You see what I'm saying? How boring would that be if we know the outcome of every fight before they even fight? So like Lamont Roach, I feel like a lot of people that dislike Lamont Roach right now is for nothing, and it's because they are probably infatuated with Gervonta Tank Davis. Like I said, I'm a Tank Davis fan. He's one of my favorite fighters. Yeah. But I want to be very clear. A lot of people are either in love with Tank or they hate Tank. Either way, that's too much emotion for somebody that you most likely don't know. And I'm not just talking about the fans, I'm talking about the pundits as well. So a lot of people that are mad at Gervonta Tank Davis for getting away with the knee, right? I know it's disingenuous. It's not because that you want justice for Lamont Roach. It's that you have a disdain and a hatred towards Gervonta Tank Davis. Case in point, right? Because he took a knee and the referee missed it, right? It was a blunder. But the very next week, when Ajit Kabayel fought Zhang was knocked down, essentially taking a knee, and the referee missed it. It happened the very next week. There was no uproar or outrage. You know why? Because it wasn't Gervonta Tank Davis. You understand what I'm saying? So you're not worried about the action. We're more worried about who it impacts or who it affects. You see what I'm saying? And that's wrong. You feel me? Another case in point, people were mad that Gervonta interacted with his corner, right? Which he should not have. He should have been disciplined for it, you know, by the referee. But once again, you're not mad at that. You're just mad that Gervonta got away with it because a couple months later, Jack Catterall fought Harlem Eubank and he did the same exact flaw, right? He went and he interacted with his corner and had his face wiped down like Boosie.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
And nobody said nothing. There was no justice for Harlem Eubank. No one was screaming and mad, outraged. They just overlooked it. Because once again, it's not about the action. It's about who's doing or not doing it. So you don't really care about Lamont Roach getting the W. You just don't like Tank and you want him to get the L, which is okay. But at least be consistent, you know, so try to mask it a little bit. Don't make it so obvious. So I think that the knee should have been counted as a knockdown. Duh. That's how boxing works. But I also am mature enough and intelligent enough to acknowledge that there's human error in boxing. And a lot of times it comes with the judges and the fighters, but also the officials, you know, and it was just a mistake. It wasn't like, oh, it was planned against Lamont Roach or in favor of Gervonta Tank Davis. Maybe that added to it, whatever you want to say, but we see mistakes like this in boxing all the time. So my bigger point is that even despite that, Lamont Roach still put on a good enough job to get a draw. You know what I'm saying? So whether you want to say he won or draw or Tank won, it's inconsequential. It was a good fight. You feel me? And now after that good fight, subsequently, not only is Lamont Roach not staying at 135 or not going back down, he's going up again to fight Pitbull Cruz. And so let's look at what he just did, right? So he's already a belt holder, and then he moved up to fight the top talent in the sport of Gervonta Tank Davis at a higher weight division, who was on the pound for pound list, right? He had a draw with him, and some people argue that he won, and now he's moving up again to fight the WBC interim title holder Pitbull Cruz at 140.
Damn. I'm sorry.
So imagine if he wins. If he wins, and if he stops him like he says he can do, then that's phenomenal. He's moving up 2 times in 2 fights consecutively. That is absolutely great. And you know how I can prove that's great? Because we praised Bam Rodriguez for doing it. Didn't we? Don't we? Right? Bam Rodriguez fought Sonny Edwards, who was undefeated, like Gervonta Tank Davis, right? Now, he did stop him definitively, and then he moved up next to fought who? Juan Francisco Estrada, El Gallo, an older El Gallo, the Rooster, you know what I'm saying, at 115. And we praised him for it, and we should. I'm not knocking Bam Rodriguez. Bam Rodriguez deserves all the praise that he gets, right? At 115 and 112, you know, who's currently at 115 going to fight Puma Martinez, the American. Bam Rodriguez will take on the Argentine Puma Martinez, right? He deserves all the credit. But why not Lamont Roach? You see what I'm saying? Oh, you want to talk about somebody else who gets a lot of praise for moving up or doing the same thing Lamont Roach is doing? Actually, Lamont Roach is moving up 2 divisions, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just giving you a similar example in a similar situation, right? A comparable situation. Lomachenko gets praised all the time, right? Remember when he fought Guillermo Rigondeaux, who was a smaller guy? He beat him, and he was undefeated at the time, and he stopped him, you know, and then he moved up and fought Jorge Linares. Jorge Linares wasn't undefeated, but we praised the feat of him moving up consecutively, you know, and fighting somebody else and beating them, right? So just like with Bam Rodriguez, Juan Francisco Estrada, when he moved up after beating Sonny Edwards was undefeated, but he wasn't, but Juan Francisco Estrada wasn't undefeated, and he beat him. He beat a guy that already has losses, and he was an older guy, right? And then Lomachenko, he moved up, and after he beat Guillermo Rigondeaux, right, Rigo, he moved up and fought Jorge Linares, who wasn't undefeated. He had losses, right? So Lamont Roach, yes, he had a draw with Tank, but that's Tank. A lot of people thought he was going to win, and he moved up to do it, right? Which is something that Bam Rodriguez didn't do when they fought Sonny Edwards, or Lomachenko didn't do when he fought Guillermo Rigondeaux. They weren't moving up. They were just staying in their weight division. That's fine. But Lamont Roach moved up, so his result may not have been as good as Lomachenko's over Rigondeaux or Bam Rodriguez over Sonny Edwards, but they weren't moving up. Lamont Roach moved up and had a draw with one of the top talents in the sports, especially when you talk about cash cows. It's him, AJ, and Canelo, right? So he had a draw with that guy, and now he's moving up again to fight Pitbull Cruz. You say, oh, well, he has losses. Well, so did Jorge Linares. That's why I brought that up. You see how it comes back around, though. You feel me? Jorge Linares had L's too. Juan Francisco Estrada had L's too. And they were older. Pitbull Cruz has L's, but he's in his prime. He's also a former champion. And if Lamont Roach beats him in a decisive fashion, that is greatness, because he's moving up twice. Coming from 130, going to 135, and then going to 140. No tune-up fights. Shout out to Lamont Roach. Now, you want to argue, I'm not saying that he's as great as Lomachenko. I'm not saying he's as great as Bam Rodriguez. I'm not saying he's as great as Tank Davis or anybody else you want to compare him to. But I'm just tired of this nonsense, man. Let's keep the goalposts the same for everybody. Stop changing it. You see? And even with Lamont Roach, right, we would talk about things like, oh, well, Lamont Roach, he's not considered the man at 130. Okay, yeah, there's different champions, but you don't have to be the man to be great, right? Manny Pacquiao was never undisputed, but Nia Inoue was. They're both great, right? Terrence Bud Crawford was undisputed multiple times. Floyd Mayweather never was, but they're both great. Stop acting like there's only one path to greatness. So what Lamont Roach is doing, it is great, especially if he beats Pitbull in decisive fashion. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people are going to compare it to Tank, and they say, oh, well, Tank didn't knock out Pitbull Cruz. It's so crazy to me that, we think that if you don't knock somebody out for certain fighters, it's a close fight. Tank clearly beat Pitbull, right? It's just he didn't stop him like he usually does. So let's not get that twisted either. You see, Pitbull Cruz is a strong fighter, and I think it's a great fight. I'm not guaranteeing that Lamont Roach wins, but I am guaranteeing that if Lamont Roach wins, we should consider this as greatness because I'm guaranteeing that I will, even though I can also guarantee that a lot of people won't, because I've seen some goofballs, some quote unquote boxing experts saying that Lamont Roach has to move up to 140 and beat all the top guys at 140 to be considered a great feat.
You dumbass.
So he has to wipe out the division for it to be considered greatness. That goes back to, once again, to everybody that I named that weren't undisputed and they're still great. Matter of fact, Lomachenko was never undisputed and Bam Rodriguez is not undisputed yet, but we still call it great when he beats guys like Carlos Cuadras and Juan Francisco Estrada and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Because they are great, but let's not move the goalposts. If Lamont Roach moves up 2 divisions consecutively, challenges Tank, and it was a draw, controversial, some people said he won, and then move up again to fight Pitbull Cruz at a higher weight division and beats him decisively, that is greatness. I'm not saying how great it is. I'm not saying it's greater than Bam or greater than Loma or greater than Tank or greater than Floyd or greater than, I'm not even comparing it that. But this feat in itself, moving up 2 weight classes, and we applaud guys going up weight classes and there's only a 3-pound difference or a 2-pound difference, and this guy's moving up not only 5 pounds from 130 to 135, but then also another 5 pounds to 140, 10 pounds total consecutively. That is greatness. What more do you want, man? Stop hating on people, man. Show them the love. You feel me? Lamont Roach didn't do anything wrong. All he did was have a good fight with Tank, and now he's riding that momentum just like Pitbull Cruz did after he had it was a good enough fight. He didn't get stopped, but that was good enough for him to gain some stardom, right? But that's what happens when you fight a guy who is considered very popular or top talent, that win or lose, as long as you don't get destroyed, you are going to gain momentum. You could even argue if you get destroyed, you still gain some momentum and popularity. So there's nothing wrong with Pitbull Cruz riding that momentum after the Tank loss. Nothing wrong with Lamont Roach riding that momentum after a Tank draw. Stop hating on the fighters, man. Big up the sport. You feel me? I appreciate y'all rocking with me as always. Am I tripping? Let me know in the comments. Do you think that Lamont Roach has to do more than beat Pitbull Cruz? Maybe he has to beat a Keyshawn or a Teofimo or clear out the division, Subriel Matias or whoever, or Richardson Hitchens. But that's the thing about it, though. I want to remind you, if he does beat Pitbull, he will have the WBC interim belt, meaning that he would have a right to fight the winner between Subriel Matias and Dalton Smith. And then imagine if he fights that and does the unthinkable and beats them. Come on now, you got to give it up for what people are doing. You see what I'm saying? Let's give people their flowers while they're doing the greatness, instead of just waiting until they're gone before we applaud what they're doing when it comes to certain fighters. No, man, Lamont Roach pulls this off. This is a great feat. How great is he? That's debatable, but this is a great feat. I appreciate y'all rocking with me as always. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Don't forget to smack that like button, but most importantly, remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. Hey, we on Spotify. Coming soon, baby. Y'all be on the lookout for those y'all that like to listen while you're working out or while you're driving, just want audio only. Hey, we're going to accommodate you, man. We working hard over here, man. Y'all be easy. God bless. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold, we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.